Hey guys, it's Silvy from Waddle Silvy on ESPN 1000. When I listen to sports, I go to one place and one podcast, and that's by my guy Andrew Moody, my favorite Cubs fan, and Pat Adducci. This is the Zoomer Sports Radio Podcast. Enjoy and have fun. These guys know what they're talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the 9th episode of the Zoomer Sports Radio Podcast. As always, I'm Andrew, and joined by the great Patrick Adducci. Pat, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great at around day 50 or so of quarantine,
Yeah.
but, find ways to make the most of it. It could be a lot worse right now. How are you doing?
Good. Before we start the show, I would just like to thank Marc Silverman, Silvy from the Waddle Silvy show on ESPN 1000. One of our best listeners. He was so kind and did that intro for us, and we will use that in future videos. Pat, do you have anything to say about that?
No, I just think that shout out by Sylvie just makes us such an accomplished and just established brand in the podcast world for Zoomer Sports. I think that's great for this podcast, and I just feel very, very accomplished that he shouted us out and wanted to recognize what a podcast has become.
Yeah, well, as you guys know, we're doing one of our listeners' favorite segment. We're doing another top 25. Pat, do you want to alert the public on what we're doing today, what the top 25 is about? Because remember, we kept it a secret.
So yes, we did keep it a secret, but now it's the moment you've been waiting for. Today's video is going to be listing the top 25 sports movies of all time. Now, this list can be very debatable, me and myself included. It was very, very difficult to rank these movies. A lot of these movies I just like to watch over and over again. Some of these movies I haven't seen in a long time, and some of these movies I haven't seen the whole movie. I've just seen clips of it, and that's what's really brought my attention to it. But sports movies, I think, are a great way of really connecting sports to the world of people who might not be interested in sports. It's just a great, you bring in these great actors, to bring into the movies, which we'll talk about later. It's just a great way to connect with a lot of people in sports.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And yeah, it took me almost like an hour to get this list finalized. I had about a 40 movie list that was eligible, and then I narrowed it to my 25, but then deciding that 1 through 25, 1 through 10 was a lot easier than 11 through 25.
I agree.
All right. Oh, Pat, we haven't done one of our normal segments. What are we wearing today?
Oh yes. So for today's video, I am wearing my Toon Squad jersey, given that one of the movies on this list, spoiler alert, is going to be Space Jam, very high up there. So I had to wear it. It's Bill Murray.
Yeah, we got one of the funniest actors of all time.
And what are you wearing today, Andrew?
Today I got on the Sandlot Crew jersey, Sandlot Legends jersey. Pat, I showed you earlier, but I'll show you again. It's got everyone on there. You got, of course, the dog. I think Mr. Merkel's dog. I'm pretty sure. We got Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez, Benny the Jet. We got Ham Porter, my favorite character. I think that's everyone's favorite character, Ham Porter. We got Scotty Smalls. Somehow he became good at baseball in 3 days. We got the pitcher. I can't think of his name right now. He played in AAA but never got out of it. We got Grover Weeks, the second baseman. He died in the 60s. And then we got the Twins and Yeah. And on the back we got the movie, one of the movie covers, and Rodriguez 30. So yeah, this is one of my DH Gate jerseys. So shout out to DH Gate. I've always wanted a Toon Squad jersey. I just don't know who to get. Do I get Mike? Do I get Bill? Or do I get, Wayne Knight? Stan. Do I get Stan? I should get the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah.
All right. I think we should start our list.
I say we do.
You
want
want
to go first?
Pat, do you want to kick us off at number 25, or should I?
So I'll kick us off. So I would disregard the order here because ranking it was very difficult. So I'm kind of just saying what my gut feeling is. But at number 25, I have a boxing movie, Rocky 2.
Yeah, good. Rocky 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this movie, Rocky Balboa has a fight against Apollo Creed and beats him. But after that, he has surgery on his eye, and everyone's telling him you have to retire. You have to just wait it out because there's some serious damage that can be done otherwise. But Apollo and his trainers want him to get out of retirement to prove that it was just a fluke and that he can take him down in 2 rounds. And Rocky really considers this. And then on Thanksgiving night of the match, Apollo has the goal in mind of beating Rocky. And ultimately, Apollo does not win, and Rocky knocks him out. It just proves on why Rocky. It was a great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. I have that a little higher on my list. But at number 25 for me, I'm sure you won't have them, but it's a Little Big League. It's a movie about a kid. His grandfather owns the Minnesota Twins, and he sadly passes away, giving it to his grandfather Billy passes away. My bad. And Billy Haywood, his grandson, is 12 years old, inherits the team. So a 12-year-old kid owns the team, and he is not liked by the manager, George O'Farrell, and he fires George, and he becomes the manager. So a 12-year-old is managing the Minnesota Twins. I mean, very unrealistic, but hey, crazier things have happened. I mean, they had their star player, Lou Collins. He was great. I mean, but like, I can't believe Billy would use like little league tactics in major league games. Like, he would like steal guys on first and third. He would steal second, and the guy would score at home. He would do hidden ball tricks with the security guards. I mean, there's a lot of great MLB players that were in this movie. I'll just name a couple of the main ones. You got Ken Griffey Jr., Hall of Famer. Pudge Rodriguez, another Hall of Famer. Randy Johnson, Hall of Famer. You got Paul O'Neill, great player for the Yankees. Then Tim Raines, another Hall of Famer. And Chris Berman, of course, from ESPN. We all love Chris Berman.
Okay, at number 24, maybe a little low, but Varsity Blues, starring James Van Der Beek, John Voight, Paul Walker. And then this story starts off with Jonathan Moxon being very athletically and academically talented as a backup quarterback at West Canton High School. And it seems like he has everything figured out, but he's just contemplating the decision on whether he should leave for Brown University. And his father, who is very into football and very committed to football, does not approve of this decision, and neither does the coach, Bud Kilmer. So he wants him to stay, and I think the role of him being a backup is what really wants him to leave and think maybe for him. And he encourages him to stay because of the success he's had as a coach. He's brought in 2 state titles to 22 district championships, as he said. And Lance Harler, who's the starting quarterback, he's already turned him into great quarterback. So he wants him to stay and just continue with his career. And that's pretty much the plot of the story. I'm not gonna give too much into these movies because I don't want to give away the whole movie. But that's pretty much the plot of the story.
Yeah, I mean, Varsity Blues, good movie. That'd be an honorable mention on mine. I mean, I was just never into it. But at number 24, I have the 6th movie inside the Rocky installment. I have Creed at number 24. I mean, Pat will go on a little. I'll just give a quick rundown. Creed Adonis Johnson, Donnie, his nickname is the son of beloved boxing champ Apollo Creed, but he was never met him, and he becomes a boxer, and he goes to Tony Little Duke Evers Jr., the son of Apollo's trainer Tony Duke Evers, and he is rejected by him and saying he's not a boxer, so he goes to Philadelphia and meets a guy at a Italian restaurant called Adrian's. Guess who he meets? Rocky Balboa. Rocky trains him until he gets diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then Adonis goes and faces the heavyweight champ of the world, but loses in a split decision. But Creed 2 is also very good.
Yeah, Creed 2 is very good. And moving on to number 23 on my list, I don't know if I have to say too much because you previously mentioned it. It's Little Big League, where Billy's dad, the owner of the Minnesota Twins, he has a dream of playing, and yeah, we know how the rest goes. So that's number 23 on my list.
Number 23 on my list is The Blind Side, starring Tim McGraw and Sandra Bullock. All right, this is the biography of Michael Orr, as we all know, a Super Bowl champ for the Baltimore Ravens. He is it shows how he was homeless in high school and how I don't really know how to pronounce their family's name. Tui, Leanne Tui, I think it is. But I mean, they own their family owns a bunch of Taco Bell's, Yum Food distributor, Yum Food restaurants, and Quentin Aaron plays Michael Orr, and Michael's this homeless high schooler who just walks around the town. He's not accepted by anyone. He has failing grades, and everyone calls him Big Mike, and he doesn't like it. And the Tuies adopt Michael, and they bring him into his home, and he joins the football team where he becomes a stud offensive tackle, and he's ends up playing at Ole Miss, and the rest is history. He wins a Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of cameos by college coaches. Most notably, Lou Holtz, Philip Fulmer, Nick Saban, Tommy Tuberville, and of course, hey, Coach O, go Tigers! Yeah. Go Tigers!
Go Tigers. Did not make my list, honorable mention, but number 22 on my list, I have He Got Game with Spike Lee, directed by him, and starring Denzel Washington and Ray Allen. And this is a very interesting story. Ray Allen plays Jesus Shuttleworth, the top high school basketball player in the United States, and he's getting pursued by top college basketball programs, but he can't necessarily go because his family has not always had it easy. His father, Jake, has been convicted for killing his family financially can't really afford for his play. So eventually he attempts to enter the NBA with offering for cash to get visits to these big-time programs. And Jake, his dad, finally challenges him to a game of basketball. And the deal is that if Jake wins, Jesus will sign a letter of intent to play for the big state. And if Jesus wins, he can make his own decision. So it's kind of interesting there. And the game gets competitive, and Jake gets tired as the game goes on. And I'm not going to give away too much of the movie, but that's pretty much how the plot gets set up.
I actually have never seen that movie, to be honest, but at number 22, I got a movie involving my Chicago Cubs. My movie is, this would be a number 1, but it's a documentary, so it's not allowed. It would be, of course, the 2016 World Series champion video on the Cubs, but we got Rookie of the Year starring Thomas Ian Nicholas as Henry Rowan Gardner, as this kid who breaks his arm. He sucks at baseball, first of all. And he is kind of bullied by these kids that are good. And he breaks his arm trying to catch a fly ball. And so the whole summer, his arm's stuck like this, and his tendons healed too tight. So at Wrigley Field, of course, the away team, it's a homer. They got to throw it back. Henry catches the homer. He throws it back. As his tendons are so tight, he throws the ball from the bleachers right to the catcher's mitt. Very hard. He throws over 100 miles. And then Chet Rocket Stedman, Gary Busey, the famous actor, plays as Henry's mentor. As he's the former star for the team. I mean, the Cubs win the World Series. Henry is the star pitcher. I mean, it's a great movie. I'm gonna play my favorite part from the whole movie. Chris Bryant impersonated this scene in a spring training game this year. Recommend you watch that. Go look up Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo mic'd up, but here it is.
Oh my god, oh my god. 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 You big ugly piece of shit!
Yeah, it's where Henry is up to the plate because, of course, it's the National League. There's no DH. He has to bat to pitch another inning. And the pitcher who's pitching is not very nice, and he walks Henry, but he threw close to Henry's head. So, Pat, what do you got at number 21?
At number 21, a little bit biased because I am a Notre Dame fan, but I have Rudy.
Oh, I have Rudy a little higher.
One of the few movies that shot at the Notre Dame campus since New Rockne All-American. And this is a very interesting story, In the late 1960s, Daniel Eugene Rudy has dreams of playing at Notre Dame, but unfortunately, he lacks the grades, the money, and also the physical of playing college football. But his father, as a Notre Dame fan, he wants to follow in his footsteps and play at Notre Dame as well. So he has to work at a steel mill to support himself. And eventually, by the end of the game, by that later in his career, he gets to make the team as a walk-on. And in one of the final games, he gets his chance to play. And he gets in the game and he gets a sack. So it just shows them, and I think it's just a great story in general.
Yeah, I have Rocky a little higher on my list, but coming in at number 21, I have Rocky 3. I mean, Rocky 3 is a great movie. It's the second Rocky film I have on my list. And one of the best, out of all the Rocky movies, one of the best things about it is the music. I mean, we got not that. That was not it. That was technical difficulty by our staff here, but here it is. I Have the Tiger. This is like the theme song of the whole movie. I mean, Rocky, he's just coming off Apollo Creed's the victory against Apollo Creed, and Rocky 2, as Patrick mentioned. This time he actually goes into retirement. They built a statue of him right at the top of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, where the steps he runs up in the first two movies. And Clubber Lang comes and attacks him he's telling him he should unretire and face him and don't be scared. And Rocky's trainer Mickey sadly passes away, so that kind of puts Rocky he's got to get back in. And guess who his trainer is? His former enemy and now friend Apollo Creed. So Rocky loses in the first fight like he does in all movies, but he wins in the second fight. It's a great movie. Pat, I assume you have it a little higher on your list?
Yeah. At number 20, I have Creed. And yeah, it starts off with Apollo serving time in the youth detention center in Los Angeles. And eventually, you mentioned it earlier, they meet in an Italian restaurant, and he asks Rocky to become Donnie meets Rocky at Rocky's Italian restaurant. He asks Rocky to become his trainer, and yeah, it goes on from there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, do you want to go off with number 20, Pat? Oh, wait, you just said it. You just wait. Yeah. That's my bad, folks. That's my bad. At number 20, I have Happy Gilmore. Who the hell is Happy Gilmore? The great Vern Lundquist there. As his quote in the movie, Happy is this. He's this wannabe hockey player. That he loved hockey so much that he accidentally killed his father playing hockey. His mother left his family because they loved hockey so much. And he wants to be this hockey player, but he gets cut from the team. And he gets made fun of, but he has a slap shot that can break the boards. But he can't skate or anything. He has he's the record for the most penalty minutes, and he's the only guy to ever take off his skate and stab a guy with it on the rink. And he is at the batting cages at the golf course, and he's getting hit by 90 mile per hour baseballs, trying to toughen up for hockey season. When Chubbs Peterson, Carl Weathers, who also plays Apollo Creed, meets him and talks about him as he saw him at the golf range hitting golf balls very far, telling him about he should play in the tournament that gets him onto the pro golf tour. And he says, no, I'm not a golfer, but Happy goes up. He ends up getting a bunch of hole-in-ones, wins the tournament. He gets on the players' tournament, and he becomes arch nemesis with not only Shooter McGavin, but Bob Barker as well. And he ends up winning the gold jacket, which is supposed to be the green jacket. But, yeah, I love this movie. Here's my favorite quote from it.
Bring him to the airport. Send him home.
Send him home. Just send him home. It's time to go home there, Ball.
Son of a bitch, Ball. Why didn't you just go home? That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me! Suck my white ass, Ball!
Press release as he knocks down the ESPN reporter there. Yeah, Happy Gilmore's a funny movie. Everyone loves it. Pat, what do you have at number 19?
I actually had Happy Gilmore a bit higher up on my list, so we'll talk about it later. But at number 19, I had Karate Kid, the one and only karate movie on my list. Debatable if it's even split, but he made my list. So this is about Daniel, who has a dream of, everyone doubts him in high school, and he gets into a fight with John Kreese, and Halloween sprays him, and then he has to train, but instead of training like everyone else, he has to train by doing some chores, and
Wax on, wax off.
and he believes that he doesn't know what his life's coming to, so eventually he gets invited to a tournament, and he surprises everyone in the tournament by reaching the semifinals, and Johnny advances to the finals, scoring 3 unanswered points. And yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but later in the match against Johnny, they meet again. Daniel uses a special technique called the scissor leg. It's when to the back of the head, and it gives a nosebleed. And yeah, that's what he wins the match. And yeah, great movie.
Alright, number 19, I have the movie 42, which is actually probably Chadwick Boseman's first movie. He's a famous actor now. As we know, he was in Black Panther, the Marvel movies now, but 42 is really what got him on the map as an actor. But he also co-starred with Harrison Ford, which I believe was nominated for an Oscar as a supporting actor in that movie. But it's the story of Branch Rickey bringing in Jackie Robinson to break the MLB color barrier, the first black guy in the MLB. And it just shows the struggle of the racism back then and how he had to deal with it and play it. And it's a great movie. He couldn't even stay with his own team because there's white hotels only. It's just sad. It's a great movie though.
Yeah, great movie. Unfortunately, did not quite make my list, but on any given day, it probably could have. But this is number 18. Yeah, we're on the number 18.
Yeah.
I have Miracle, the only hockey film.
Oh, I have that way higher. I love Miracle.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, to be honest. It's been a few years, so maybe I'm forgetting how good the movie actually was. But I think it's just a very inspirational movie about, we're coming to this Olympic matchup against the Soviets, and I mean, they were heavily favored. And, we come in, our college kids beat them in the 1980 Winter Olympics. It's just a very inspirational story to not just any sports fans, but anyone in general that, anything is possible. And, the U.S. went in and proved just that. Great movie. And but what do you have at 18?
At 18, I have A League of Their Own, which stars Tom Hanks, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell, and Jeannie Davis as the women's baseball league. Has 4 teams. The Rockford Peaches are the team that Jimmy Dugan, Tom Hanks, coaches. And he is appalled at coaching girls at baseball. But they end up being good, and he uses the same temperament as a manager as he did on his players for male players when he was the coach in the minors. This guy was a great player in the MLB. He was he had 30 homers, but he was a great manager. And my favorite quote from here is, the Rockford Peaches end up losing the championship on the last play of the game. But here's my favorite quote. This is an extremely famous movie quote.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Why don't you leave her alone, Jimmy?
Oh, you zip it, Doris. Rogers Hornsby was my manager, and he called me a talking pile of pig shit. And that was when my parents drove all the way down from Michigan to see me play the game. And did I cry? No! No! And you know why?
No.
Because there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball! No crying!
This is Hall of Famer right there. It's just a name drop. Going on to 18. Oh, no, that was 18.
Yeah, going on to 17. 17, I have Benchwarmers, starring Rob Schneider, David Spade, and John Heater. And it's another baseball movie, and basically the team gets robbed of the diamond by a local Little League team, and Gus and Clark try to chase them away. But later, they get invited into this semifinal game at the tournament, and yeah, just a great baseball story. And they try to end the winning streak, and yeah, great movie.
At number 17, I have what you mentioned earlier. The only one of my only football movies on here. We got Rudy, which is the great story of how Rudy, the walk-on, became played for Notre Dame. He only played 1 game, had a sack. But it's the ultimate underdog story. There's the famous scene when he finally gets in and everyone's chanting his name, Rudy, Rudy. The players said to took off their jerseys and wanted him to play. Here's the kickoff when he's on. It's a great movie. It's the most underdog story of all time. All right, Pat, what do you got at 16?
All right, at 16, we have Angels in the Outfield, another baseball movie. And I like this movie. I've seen it multiple times. It's one of the movies that I actually have seen multiple times. And it's when Roger and his best friend JP, they just love to sneak into baseball games, and they're huge fans of the California Angels, and they've just been going through a time of very, very little success. So they get into the game as outfielders, and they're the ones that always seem to save the game, and they're just a good luck charm. And yeah, they go on to go on to beat the Chicago White Sox, and they win the AL pennant, and yeah, very good underdog story as well for baseball fans.
Yeah, that movie's not on my list, but it's a great movie, and We are going to take a quick timeout before we come back with our top, well, I have to give my 16th, but our top 15. We're going to take a quick timeout here. You're listening to Zoomer Sports Radio. Welcome back to the show. I have to give my 16th pick. At number 16, we have another Happy Madison film directed by Adam Sandler. We got Benchwarmers. I mean, listen, Gus Bus, he's an iconic character. Clark Reedy and Richie, I mean, these are all iconic characters. We all know who they are now. I mean, this movie became popular probably 10 years after it came out. Like, you got Rob Schneider here. I mean, you got the famous scene, I Am 12. And this is one of the best movies of baseball movies. I mean, it's just hilarious. I mean, Rob Schneider from SNL, David Spade from SNL. Yeah, John Lovitz from SNL. It's just an SNL movie. I mean, I like it. I mean, here's my scene from the I Am 12.
Whoa, dude, you smell like beer.
You look like beer.
Hey, who the hell's this guy? Sorry.
Is he on your roster?
Yeah, of course he is. He wasn't feeling well earlier, so I couldn't play him.
You told me it's sequel.
This guy's 50. He's got a mustache. Not according to birth certificate.
He's got documentation. Play ball!
It's a very funny movie. And Pat, do you want to lead us in the top 15?
All right, at number 15, I have a running movie, Chariots of Fire, and this is a very interesting story in my opinion. It's the two main characters, Eric Liddell and Harold Abrams, have plans on running for their country in the 1924 Olympics, but it's more for like the religious purposes. And it was so much to the point where on race day they found out that the 100-meter race was on a Sunday, and they had to skip the race because of their church, which I thought was pretty interesting. I think it was a pretty odd decision, but I think that it's a very intriguing story for any runners. And yeah, I think that it's one of the few good running movies. It's actually a pretty good one. Haven't seen much of it. Been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, pretty good movie.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I actually have not seen that movie. Another one, a rare one I haven't seen. But at 15, we have what Patrick is wearing right now. We got the Michael Jordan starred movie, Space Jam. I mean, this movie's awesome. You got the Looney Tunes and NBA stars. Like, come on. You got this great music. Like, you had Fly Like an Eagle and I Believe I Can Fly. This song, Wayne Knight's in it. It's a great movie. It shows how, it's the story of how Michael came back from baseball and came back to basketball. I mean, he was honestly kidnapped by the Looney Tunes while playing golf with Larry Bird and Bill Murray. And he played against the Monstars, who stole their talent from NBA players like Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, Muggsy Bogues, and Sean Bradley. Granted, I don't know who would want to steal Sean Bradley's talent. What do you got at 14, Pat?
Yeah, Space Jam was very high up on my list, so a little biased there. But number 14, you mentioned them. Another baseball rookie movie, Rookie of the Year. And I think it's a very great story as well. You know, Henry, an very unskilled little league pitcher who has dreams of playing in the leagues. And one day, while they're at a game against the Expos, you know, they hit a home run, and he gets the ball and throws it 435 feet away from the plate. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so much to the point where Fisher actually looks to recruit him. And at practice, they see that he throws an 100-mile-per-hour fastball. it was just ridiculous. So he gets a contract in his first game against the Mets, gives up a home run, but then against the Giants in the next game, he gets his first strikeout. So he definitely shows some promise, and I think it's just these baseball movies I feel like are really motivational, and this one in particular as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. At 14, I have another installment of the Rocky series. I have Rocky 2, which Pat talked about earlier. This is called Redemption, the theme for Rocky 2. It's actually my favorite music from all the Rockies, including the original theme. This is the theme when Rocky's riding in the ambulance in the beginning of Rocky 2, right after the fight. Pat talked about it earlier, so I'm not going to expand much, but it's my third favorite Rocky out of the 5 I have on my list. So Pat, let's go to number 13.
All right, at number 13, we have another basketball movie, Uncle Drew, with Kyrie Irving, Shaquille O'Neal, Aaron Gordon, Chris Webber, Reggie Miller, Nate Robinson. The list goes on. Great basketball movie, and it opens up with him playing in the Rucker Classic, and just an unknown conflict allows his team to disappear, and Uncle Drew turns out to be exceptional at basketball despite his age, and he just gets on, and it's just unbelievable. People don't know how, but yeah, great movie. Really recommend it. One of the new movies on this list as well.
Yeah, for sure. At number 13, I believe, I have the only NASCAR movie. I have what Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly starred in. This duo is hilarious. They're also starred as Step Brothers, but we got Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby, he's this great NASCAR driver who his best friend, John C. Reilly, Cal Naughton Jr. and his teammate, Ricky Bobby always finishes first, and Carl Naughton always finishes second, and it's like their dynamic duo. But then Will Ferrell or Ricky Bobby has some career injury. He has some mental issues. His wife ends up leaving him for Cal, and he has to battle not only Cal, he has to now battle a French Formula One driver who is part of NASCAR, who joined NASCAR. It's a great movie, very funny, and here's one of the most famous quotes from the movie.
You ain't first, you're last. Don't talk about that phrase, trademark, not to use it as a producer, Ricky Bobby.
Yes, it's a great movie. I love it. Any Will Ferrell movie is funny. I have another one coming up in my top 10. So, I love him. I love Will Ferrell, his movies.
Yeah, no doubt. His movies are great. And I unfortunately have not seen Talladega Nights. Probably should, but we're moving on to, is this number 12?
Yeah, we're on number 12, the home stretch.
Yeah. At number 12, I have The Natural. And I think this is a really interesting plot as well. It takes place in the 1910s in Nebraska, and Roy learned to play baseball from his father, who unfortunately died from a heart attack. And when he's 19, he goes out to a trial with the Cubs on the train, and he meets ESPN sports writer Marc, and he makes a bet with him that he can take him out in 3 pitches. And he accomplishes that, and then gets invited to a contract to sign as a rookie with the New York Knights, a team that's struggled and was in last place for a long time. And the manager of the team, Pop Fisher, he's very angry at the fact that Hobbs was recruited, and believing that he can't really play anymore. He initially refuses that Hobbs can play, but following the game, he benches one of the outfielders. I'm blanking on his name right now, but yeah, that's when he gets his chance to play, and he turns the season around and becomes a huge part of their success. So yeah, great movie.
At number 12, you had him a little earlier. I have The Karate Kid, the original one with Billy Zabka and Ralph Macchio. Yeah, that's his name. I was blanking on it, but I got it. Yeah, Daniel moves to California. He's Johnny. Billy Zabka is just kind of like a pest to him, and he meets Mr. Mignani, who trains him with chores. I mean, you got one of the most famous movie quotes of all time right here.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off. Breathe in through nose, out the mouth. Wax on, wax off. Don't forget to breathe. Very important.
I mean, yeah, this Patrick talked about earlier. It's a great movie. It's another underdog story. I've seen a common theme here. A lot of underdog stories in these sports movies.
Yes, for sure. And at number 11, we have another baseball movie, Field of Dreams, with Kevin Costner. You know, a lot of movies with him are great. There's a few I will mention later on, but this is a baseball story that takes place in a cornfield. Fun fact, I've actually seen the Field of Dreams in Dyersville, Iowa. Drove past it. So it was a pretty cool experience. But, yeah, it takes place when shoeless Joe Jackson figures that if he builds a baseball field from there, they can play baseball again. And yeah, this goes on during the 1919 Black Box scandal, and yeah, it's when Ray recognizes shoeless Joe, and they create a team, the Black Sox, and yeah, I'm not going to ruin too much of it because it's a great movie, but yeah, I really love this movie.
James Earl Jones is Charles Mann. Yeah, at number 11, I also have a baseball movie that also stars Kevin Costner, but it's called Bull Durham. I mean, this movie's great. It follows a minor league team, and Kevin Costner plays the catcher Crash Davis, and they're just like a bunch of oddballs, and like they're in the minor league grind. And one of the best quotes is, you hit the bull. I mean, when he throws a bad pitch, you hit the bull on the mascot, who's standing on the on-deck circle. So, let's get the top 10.
The top 10, all right. Starting at number 10, we have a basketball movie. We have Hoosiers. And this story takes place with Norman Dale. He arrives in very, very rural, kind of beat downtown Hickory, Indiana, and he originally comes here to become a high school teacher and the head basketball coach of the team, and he was hired by Cletus Summers, who he's been longtime friends with, and he loves the opportunity, and that town in particular is very passionate about basketball. I mean, you know, Indiana, huge basketball fans, you know, obviously Indiana University, it's a success they've had, and then this high school team, but what's really upset about they're huge fans, so they're really upset that the best player in the town, Jimmy Chitwood, left the team to focus on schoolwork more so than basketball, and you know, it's just a great basketball movie. Really recommend it.
Yeah, I have that a little higher on my list. It's a great movie. I mean, it's obviously one of the up there, definitely in the top 10, but in the top 10, I got my second favorite Rocky, Rocky IV, starring Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa, and Ivan Drago, who kills Apollo Creed at the beginning of the movie, which Rocky believes he has to come out of retirement to redeem Apollo for his death, and he has to train in the Soviet Union. He has got to train in the snow, climbing mountains. I mean, this is one of the songs from the training. Well, another great Rocky. The Rocky series has just created great music.
Yeah, great.
Like, he's the train in the snow, like in unconventional methods, while Drago has steroids, of course, and like the perfect gyms.
Yeah.
Pat, I believe you have this a little higher on your list.
Very coincidentally, I actually have it as my number 9.
Oh, so we can keep the song going.
Yeah, keep the song going. Absolutely. You know, like you said, Ivan Drago, Apollo, Rocky's best friend, has a chance to meet him. Unfortunately, wasn't very successful in doing so. And yeah, just a great film. You know, it takes place in the Grand Hotel in Las Vegas, and yeah, best Rocky movie in my opinion.
But you, alright, yeah. I mean, I really like this one, but of course, the original one is always going to be higher. But, going on to number 9. You know what? I'm not going to say anything for this. I'm just going to let, the great Herb Brooks speak for himself. And this explains everything.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. One game. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9. But not this game. Not tonight. Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to be hockey players. Every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Soviets have. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
The greatest sports speech of all time. Yes, Pat talked about him earlier. It's just, obviously we got the USA team as they played the Soviet Union in the 1980 semifinal hockey game in the Olympics, and it was at the it was in New York, and the USA won, I believe, 4-3, and it was just an insane game because the Soviet Union had won 6 straight gold medals. Well, not 6, probably 3. Alright, go on to number 8.
Moving on to number 8. You actually mentioned this movie a while ago, but I have The Sandlot. You're sure at number 8.
Oh, I have The Sandlot way higher.
Wait. Oh no, I'm thinking of another one. I'm thinking of Happy Gilmore that you had.
You're probably thinking of when I talked about my jersey.
Yeah, I'm thinking about when you talked about your jersey. But anyway, shout out to your jersey. Number 8 is where I have Sandlot on my list. You know, Scotty Smalls, Ham, Benny the Jet, you know, Timmy and Tommy Timmons, Michael Squints, you know, just great type of personalities in this story. And, you know, it starts off with Scotty moving in and, you know, hit difficulty making friends, so he decides to join the baseball team. And
he shows up there.
Yeah. And then Benny the Jet, eventually one day when they're playing baseball, he hits the ball so hard that he knocks the cover off. And an odd decision that he takes his Babe Ruth signed ball and plays with it, and which is just very disrespectful to the game. Collective. But over the next few years, they go their separate ways, and you know, Benny goes on to play with the the Dodgers. Scott becomes a commentator. And yeah, they celebrate the victory, and from here, they were one team. Great baseball movie.
Yeah, awesome baseball movie. I mean, at number 8, we have a lot of baseball movies here, but I don't mind it. We got the 2011 film starring Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. We got Moneyball, which followed the early 2000 Oakland A's and Billy Beane's strategy of how he was able to make the playoffs with the lowest payroll in the MLB. I mean, here's a great clip from the movie. What?
Who are you?
Skip to it. Here's the good scene.
Is an epidemic failure within the game to understand what is really happening. And this leads people who run Major League Baseball teams to misjudge their players and mismanage their teams. I apologize.
Go on.
Okay, people who run ball clubs, they think in terms of buying players. Your goal shouldn't be to buy players, your goal should be to buy wins. And in order to buy wins, you need to buy runs. You're trying to replace Johnny Damon. The Boston Red Sox see Johnny Damon and they see a star who's worth $7.5 million a year. When I see Johnny Damon, what I see is an imperfect understanding of where runs come from. The guy's got a great glove. He's a decent leadoff hitter. He can steal bases, but is he worth the $7.5 million a year that the Boston Red Sox are paying him? No. Baseball thinking is medieval. They are asking all the wrong questions. And if I say it to anybody, I'm ostracized. I'm a leper. So that's why I'm cagey about this with you. That's why I respect you, Mr. Bean. And if you want full disclosure, I think it's a good thing that you got Damon off of your payroll. I think it opens up all kinds of interesting.
Yeah, it's just a great scene about how Billy Beane hired Peter Brand. This is just revolutionized baseball, because, I mean, baseball has never been the same after that Oakland A's team. Pat, let's go to number 7.
Moving on to number 7, we got, as the movie I previously alluded to a little bit, Happy Gilmore, starring Adam Sandler. You know, any Adam Sandler movie, it's going to be funny, and that's why this one gets very high votes on the list. You know, coming in, just more of a hockey player, and then eventually finds a love for golf, but eventually does not get approved because of his fluked ability and just completely horrible golf skills. And to improve his game, he goes out to Chubb's, and they go to a miniature golf course to practice putting. And he practices and improves, and eventually he gets to invited to this tournament where people start to know about him, and he hits a ridiculous trick shot to win the tournament, and he wins the gold jacket, really the green jacket. And yeah, great golf movie. By far surpasses all the other golf movies out there.
I would disagree with that statement, because I have a golf movie coming up soon. But at number 7, I have another Will Ferrell movie. Honestly, one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies of all time. It stars Woody Harrelson in it. But I mean, it's semi-pro and starring Will Ferrell as Jackie Moon, who writes the song and makes all his money off the song to buy the Flint Tropics of the American Basketball Association, which back then competed with the NBA. And he had a star player named Coffee Black, or Downtown Malone. He kept changing his name. But he traded for a former Boston Celtic champion, Ed Monix. He traded his washing machine to try to win, because the ABA was closing next season and the Flint Tropics were not going to be joined in the NBA. But they agreed that the top 4 teams got to move on, but the Tropics were number 7, so they thought the Tropics weren't going to be in it. So the Tropics got all the way to we're one game away from number 4 seed, and they played in the Mega Bowl versus the number 1 seed San Antonio Spurs. They ended up winning by inventing a play called the alley-oop. They didn't make it to the NBA, but who knows? This movie's awesome.
No doubt. I have a little bit high on my list, but yeah, I love that movie. We'll be talking about it soon as well. Okay, at number 6 for me, I have the original Rocky. And, you know, this is pretty much how the other Rocky movies play out. In particular, this one was my favorite. It's where Rocky beats Apollo once again. And, you know, after the match...
The original Rocky, Apollo wins by split decision.
Yeah, Apollo wins by split decision, and they agree that there will be no rematch. And, yeah, after the fight, everyone's going wild, and everyone is just left in suspense, kind of. So, yeah, it's my favorite Rocky movie, in my opinion.
All right, at number 6, I'm going to drop a big hint on what it is right here. Are you guys ready? Pat, what is it?
Well, I didn't hear the play again.
All right. It's a big hint here. What my number 6 movie is here.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear anything. Well, what is it?
Oh, it's If You Build It, He Will Come. Field of Dreams starring Kevin Costner comes in at number 6. I mean, he builds a baseball field on his farm, and he travels around America to find a guy named Charles Mann, James Earl Jones, and like they go to Fenway, like they look for signs, like from I forget it, Moonlight. What's the guy's name? You know what I'm talking about? Moonlight, the one player.
Oh yeah, Moonlight. Doc Moonlight Graham.
Yes, Doc Moonlight Graham. Yeah, and like there's a bunch of former players that come to the field, and it's really just it's a weird movie. Like Shoeless Joe comes, Eddie Seacott. I mean, a bunch of the Black Sox who got banned. Yeah, and then it's just a really good movie. It's really hard to explain. It's kind of a hard movie to explain though. It's a good movie.
All right, moving into the top 5.
Wait, Pat, before we do the top 5, we're going to need to take a quick timeout, and then we'll be right back with the top 5. You're listening to Zoomer Sports Radio. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, and let's get into the nitty-gritty, the top 5. All right, at number 5 for me, I have McFarland USA. I'm a little bit biased. It's just a personal favorite of mine. I just watch it a lot, and it starts off with Jim White as a football coach, and he loses his temper and accidentally injures one of his players, and they have to move to this really poor town in California, where he eventually quits football to become a cross-country coach, and they eventually, at first, do not win at all, and then they eventually win the state title. So it's just a very inspirational story. It's based off a true story as well. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's not on my list, but that is a great movie. Number 5, you talked about it earlier, so I'm not going to talk too much on it. We got Hoosiers. That stars Gene Hackman. I mean, it's a great movie. You got Jimmy Chitwood and Shooter Flatch, Cletus. I mean, Norman Dale coaches these guys and becoming state champs from a poor town. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the best part of this movie is probably when Norman Dale gets ejected from the game. That's an iconic scene. And, of course, the underhand free throw. I mean, granny style. I mean, that's one of the best. But let's go to number 4.
All right, going on to number 4. You mentioned him a few movies ago. Semi-Pro starring Will Ferrell, Woody Harrelson. Just a very, the Flint Tropics. Very funny movie. The way that, the Flint Tropics. Jackie Moon, the owner of the team, eventually makes a trade, and Celtics, and you know the way that team to win the games. I mean, the free throws were probably one of some of my favorite moment of the movie. It was just a really funny movie more than anything. So yeah, they get number 4 on that list.
Jackie kisses the ball 3 times. Father Pat has crossed the line. I can actually impersonate the announcer so good. And Jackie takes the ball up, and he takes it back up. Jackie posting up. Right back to Coffee Black. Over to Jackie. Over to Coffee Black. Back to Jackie. Over to Coffee. I don't know what he's doing here. All right, let's go. Number 4. Number 4, Rocky. Pat, do you have Rocky at 4 too?
I had Rocky at, I think it was 6.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Rocky the original. I mean, he's this poor Philadelphian kid who fights in Mickey's gym, just like local boxing gym. I mean, he's not around the greatest people right now. I mean, but he works in he works out in the meat factory where Paulie works. Adrian, his best friend's sister, his best friend Paulie. I mean, his sister's Adrian is who Rocky eventually marries. But yeah, he gets challenged by Apollo Creed, and they play at the Spectrum. Rocky loses by split decision, but the best scene in this movie is by far the training montage of this song, which ends with him running up the steps, cheering. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, the one-handed push-ups, him getting destroyed by that medicine ball. I mean, awesome scene. What do you got number 3 now?
Number 3, I'm repping my Space Jam jersey for this movie. Space Jam at number 3, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, Sean Bradley, Larry Johnson, and all the Looney Tunes. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Hey, don't forget about Stan, Wayne Knight.
Oh yeah, and Wayne Knight. But yeah, perfect combination for the movie. You know, just my favorite basketball movie. You know, the Monstars, obviously from the other planet, eventually stole the powers, and yeah, just later in the movie, they used Michael's secret stuff to try to dethrone the Monstars. And definitely my favorite movie, the moment of the movie is the last second shot by Michael. You know, the arm stretched out over half court, just one of the most iconic photos in sports movies history, probably in my opinion. And that's how they win the game and dethrone the Monsters. And they made a deal that if they win, they lose their powers, and paid off. Best basketball movie, actually, yeah, probably the highest rated basketball movie on this list.
Yeah, at number 3, I have. I'm gonna let this build up. Some of you might know by now, but at number 3, as Kenny Loggins plays in the background, I have the movie with the dancing gopher, Caddyshack. It stars a bunch of hilarious guys. You got Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Ted Knight. I mean, it's a story about how Ted Knight owns a golf club, and it's very strict, no betting, and it's very strict. And a guest comes by the name of Al, who's played by Rodney Dangerfield, and him and Judge Smales, who's Ted Knight, don't get along. Danny Noonan, who's a caddy there, plays in a match. Try to get it's a very funny movie. You should all watch it. Bill Murray plays the greenskeeper.
What an incredible Cinderella story. This unknown comes out of nowhere to lead the pack. At Augusta, he's on his final hole. He's about 455 yards away. He's going to hit about a 2-iron, I think. Well, he got all of that. The crowd is standing on its feet here at Augusta. The normally reserved Augusta crowd going wild for this young Cinderella who's come out of nowhere. He's got about 350 yards left. He's going to hit about a 5-iron, I expect, don't you think? He's got a beautiful backswing. Oh, he got all of that one. He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy. Tears in his eyes, I guess, as he lines up this last shot. He's got about 195 yards left, and looks like he's got about an 8-iron. This crowd has gone deathly silent. Cinderella story, out of nowhere. A former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion. It looks like a miracle. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Hey, I'm close.
They try to kill the gopher, which is just a very iconic scene at the end where he tries to kill the gopher as Danny makes the putt to win the tournament. So yeah, it's a great movie, Pat. I recommend you watch it. It's very funny.
Yes, I've not watched it. That's why I did not make my list, but I will definitely check that out. Okay, moving on to number 2. I have a football movie. Remember the Titans. This one is going to be interesting.
How is this movie not on my list? Oh my god, that's my bad.
Yeah, there's just a lot of great movies, you know? But, yeah.
Yeah, but it's better than Little Big League. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
How did I forget about it? How did I forget about Remember the Titans? Alright, I'm gonna have to sit on that.
For me, that one was probably Moneyball for me that you had that I did not have. But, yeah. It's hard to only fit 25 in there now that I realize how many good movies. Number 2, Remember the Titans, takes place in Virginia at Integrated High School, and Herman Boone, an African-American, is hired as the head coach, and pretty much the whole town and his family in particular really disappointed by his decision under Bill Yost, who used to be the head coach. And one of my favorite conversations in the movie was the coach with one of his players. I forget who it was, but he was just sitting there like, "Is football fun?" Yes, it is. Are you sure about that? And he's just like, "No, football is not fun." So it is, and then it's just a great conversation. I really love the movie. That's what I think is a really funny movie as well.
It's a great Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah, Denzel Washington as well. A lot of these movies had Denzel Washington, so yeah, any movie with him is going to be good. My favorite character in the movie was the white offensive lineman who would sit with the black side of the team as opposed to the white side. And they would always try to just make him feel like family. And yeah, there was just one game during the season, and eventually Jerry, one of the main players, is hospitalized, and they eventually end up winning the championship. So it's a great movie. Yeah, number 2 on my list.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, number 2, I have a very funny movie. It is the last 2 are baseball I have. We have Major League, which stars Charlie Sheen as Ricky Vaughn for the Cleveland Indians, as they are the worst team in the league, but somehow they win the AL pennant by working together, really, and just their team is about to get moved to Miami from Cleveland unless they go to win, and they end up winning. And this is like one of the best scenes in the movie. This is on opening day. Bob Uecker, the famous announcer for the Brewers, is the announcer for the Cleveland Indians in this movie, and has Ricky Vaughn, my favorite character, right here.
Top of the 6th, and rookie sensation Ricky Vaughn on the pitch now. You can close the book on Kellner.
Thank God.
Relax, Ricky. We're only 4 runs down. We're still in this game.
You take it to him?
Oh, all right. Look, man, guy gets a second, first sign indicator.
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason in his Major League debut.
I'm gonna light your ass up, meat.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close?
Wild thing! You make my heart sing! You walk everything.
Taylor, what you doing back up here?
Couldn't cut it the Mexican League.
That's your wife and my kids.
Vaughn in deep trouble here with Clu Haywood, last year's American League home run champ at the plate. Vaughn kicks, fires. Here is a swing and a drive toward left field and deep. Oh, boy.
No way, too high.
It is gone off the reservation. A grand slam home run for Haywood.
Looked like a strike anyway.
Where you go? Too high? What does that mean, too high?
Too high.
So Vaughn is off to a run.
For the radio or for the podcast listeners on Spotify or Anchor, that the irony of that is that Bob Uecker's calling these pitches like they're just close right off the strike zone, but they are actually hitting the backstop, not even close to a strike. He's like just a bit outside. The Vaughn, just a bit outside. All right, Pat, got a number one movie. What do you got?
Alright, the number one movie, another football movie, featuring Adam Sandler, a water boy. Just really funny, Bobby Boucher, you know, he starts his team as a water boy, as in the title, and then eventually gets brought on by the team as a linebacker, and the coach just tells him just, like, beat him up. But he's, like, commanded. It's really funny how, like, he can be so dominant at times, and at times he doesn't know what he's doing. And I remember my favorite scene is when they're in the classroom at school, and the teacher asks, like, a question about alligators. And he's just like, Mama said that alligators are so angry because they got all that teeth, but no toothbrush. And, yeah, just on the football aspect of it, just when he set the record and got, like, 16 sacks in a game, and then eventually led them to winning games down in Louisiana, and they were not really successful. End up getting a bid to the Bourbon Bowl, win that, and then from there, Bobby Boucher is recognized as just local hero, and yeah, really funny movie. So that's the number one movie on my top 25 list.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually never seen that one. It's probably why I didn't make it. I believe it is on Netflix, so I'll give it a go. And number one, you mentioned it earlier. Why would I not have a jersey of my favorite movie? I got Sandlot. Cue up Ham Porter.
You play ball like a girl! What did you say? You heard me.
And I mean, this is just new. I mean, it might be pure nostalgia, but I mean, I love this movie. I've loved it ever since I was little. I mean, Pat, I remember like in our third grade Park District baseball practices. Yeah, Mr. Shaw. Whenever someone made an error, he would go, "You play ball like a girl." He used to get everyone to laugh.
I remember that. Good times.
Third grade baseball. Pat, how's your finger doing?
My finger?
Yeah, after getting hit by that pitch.
Oh, yeah. It's so bad that I got my nail cut off, and yeah, it's back to normal. Now,
Of course it's back to normal. It's been like 10 years.
and, oh my gosh, yeah. I've learned from that. I was dumb in putting my hand out there. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest, but I was in like second grade.
What do you think we were playing wiffle ball and you caught the bad pitch?
Honestly, I probably should have gotten drug tested before the game because I didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, not a great decision. I can't say I really have many regrets about that because now I know what pain really is. But yeah, just retarded decision now.
That's just hilarious. That's just hilarious. Alright, so that wraps up our list. That wraps up top 25 sports. So, I mean, as always, we'll come with you with an MJ Monday on Monday. But really, nothing going on in the sports world, so probably just MJ Monday and then one other show sometime next week. Would you say so, Pat?
Yeah, we'll think of definitely a show to do next week, but absolutely we will do MJ Monday, and I can't wait for the next two episodes on Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what they're gonna talk about this week. I'm intrigued.
I would be very interested they give a little insight to his flu game, because I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The 1997 finals against the Utah Jazz.
I mean, they talked about the Scotty migraine game already, so it's got to come up sometime.
It's got to come up.
I mean, yeah, so we're 4 episodes in. We got 6 more left. I mean, I'm ready. I mean, thank you all for listening. Thank you to Silvy for that great intro. Thank you to Randy Newman for that great guitar riff. Thank you to all the actors and directors who made these hilarious movies possible. Anything you'd like to add in, Pat?
Thank you, Silvy, once again for all the support.
Go listen to his show weekdays 2 to 6 on ESPN 1000 or the Apple Podcast app. Pat, take us home for the episode. Take us home, Pat.
Thank you for all the support, especially from Silvy. We hope that will just spur podcast to spread even more. And thank you for all the support that we've had up